So obviously the Quiet on Set Nickelodeon documentary came out.
Yeah.
And it was kind of all about child stars on the Nickelodeon set, kind of really toxic and abusive things that went down. A lot of it was about one of the really big Nickelodeon producers and creators, Dan Schneider,
Creep.
who massive creep, who created like Zoe 101, Victorious, iCarly, like all of those massive shows. And I think it's kind of like brought up another conversation, just a broader conversation in general about not only like child stars, but also about kind of some of those other really big networks like Disney that was so big, and I mean still is to this day, but specifically in like the 2010s era, when kind of like there was like Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Camp Rock, Wizards of Waverly Place. I mean, there were so many shows, and kind of like all of the really messed up stuff that went up on like on there as well.
I mean, a lot of these shows did put these celebrities where they are now.
Yeah.
It gave them the platform, but at what cost? I think this documentary has really kind of like maybe given some people confidence into speaking about it, or maybe given people the idea of like looking further into it. Miley Cyrus, for example, she's come from Disney and she's had a bit of a messed up past. I would say she's kind of sorted herself out a little bit now. I mean, you can only see what's in front of you, but there's Demi as well. She went through a really hard time, and
she's been really open about it as well, like in terms of like she's spoken a lot about how she started drinking alcohol when she was like 12 or 13 years old. Started doing like
Who's
drugs.
buying her that stuff?
Well, she apparently the first time that she got drunk, she like stole beers from her stepdad's fridge or something, and like went and drunk them in her room to like see what it would feel like. But I think being on those types of sets and also like feeling like you are an adult because of how much you're having to work and the fact that you're basically the breadwinner of your family. Like I think obviously with Demi Lovato that was very much the case, and basically being shoved into the limelight so quickly and so much pressure of acting a certain way, looking a certain way, appealing to certain audiences.
Being a character as a child, and then also having to do that for seasons upon seasons upon seasons. Can you think of anyone that has come out of Disney and not been crazy?
I mean, no, there are so many stories of like people talking about how like toxic of a work environment it was. I think Bella Thorne and Zendaya, who were on Shake It Up, who I was actually obsessed with that show. I loved Shake It Up so much. I definitely thought I was like capable of being in the dance troupe that they were in. I definitely thought that I should have been like cast in that show.
How rude.
No, literally. Like, why didn't you just come to my very small town in England and like discover me and like put me on Disney?
So selfish, Disney.
So selfish. But they've both spoken about, I think Bella Thorne in particular has spoken about how they really wanted the two to compete with one another almost like behind the scenes, so it ended up really fracturing their friendship. Like how like she kind of said like we wanted to be friends and we wanted to have this relationship, but the people at Disney wanted us to almost be in competition with each other,
very competitive,
so it kind of ended up screwing us up a little bit in terms of like having that relationship and that like co-starring thing on set.
Zendaya's pretty successful though.
Well, Zendaya's definitely like beaten off the Disney thing, like she's a fully blown like star.
Yeah, she really is.
It's kind of very evident the fact that everyone that's come out of it has in some way or another got like a story to tell. Like whatever scale it's on, obviously some people like suffered more than others. Everyone has a story of some kind of what they went through.
Do you think Nickelodeon kids had it worse than Disney kids?
I think it's really hard to know, because obviously the documentary that just came out all about Nickelodeon, we got to see and hear about a lot of things that we didn't know about and kind of in real detail, and it's really like in the forefront of our minds, and it's a lot of really insane messed up things. I don't doubt that things of a similar caliber happened on Disney sets.
I reckon producers are sweating.
Oh, 1,000%, because it's a real like reckoning of like these entire industries. I don't doubt similar things went down, but obviously we don't know the extent of what went down. So I think it's really hard to compare them. I think when it comes to like the actual, it's also hard to compare because I would argue that Disney kids have way more fame now than like a lot of Nickelodeon kids do.
Yeah, true.
Like even like if you look like at Drake and Josh, Drake Bell obviously spoke a lot in the documentary about things that he went on to. Massive beef, but also like neither of them, obviously I know Josh Peck was just in Oppenheimer, but like neither of them have had blossoming careers particularly. No, neither. Whereas if you look at the Disney stars, some of them have done like incredibly well for themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's really hard to compare because you just don't know the like actual details of what went down, like especially on the Disney set. Alison Stoner from who did a load of Disney stuff, and she was in like Cheaper by the Dozen and Step Up and stuff. She's spoken a lot about it. And so I think we will get to see more and more things come out from both sides of it. But yeah, I just don't think it's like comparable because we don't know enough to be able to make a judgment.
Yeah, I mean, either way, the TV industry itself is just a bit messed up.
I think we need to just kind of rethink and reevaluate kid stars and kid acting like as a whole, because obviously they're not going to go away, but even changes that have been made over the past like 5 to 10 years, I still probably don't think have gone far enough. Like safeguarding has to be like a top priority.